Somewhere there exists a version of you that made different choices. Not better choices necessarily, just different ones. This version of you said yes when you said no. Took the risk when you played it safe. Spoke up when you stayed silent. Left when you decided to stay. This version of you is not imaginary. They're the person you could have become if your life had followed a different path. And somewhere deep inside, you already know who that person is. You have glimpsed them in quiet moments, in the space between sleeping and waking, in those seconds before you make a decision when all possibilities still exist. Today we're going to meet that person. We're going to explore who they became and what they discovered and what they might want to tell you now. This is not a story about regret. This is a story about understanding, about seeing your own life from the outside and recognizing the weight of every single choice you have ever made. Imagine you are walking down a long hallway. The walls are covered with doors. Each door represents a moment in your life when you made a significant choice. Behind each door is the path you did not take, the life you did not live, the person you did not become. You stop at one door. It feels familiar. You know exactly which moment this represents. Perhaps it was a conversation you avoided. Perhaps it was an opportunity you declined. Perhaps it was a relationship you ended or one you never started. You reach for the handle. The door opens easily, and on the other side you see yourself. But not yourself as you are now. This is the version of you that made the other choice. They look similar to you, but something is different. Something in their eyes. Something in the way they carry themselves. They have been shaped by experiences you never had. They have learned lessons you never learned. They have become someone you can barely recognize. The other you speaks first. They ask you a simple question. Are you happy with who you became? The question hits harder than you expected. You want to say yes automatically. That is what we're trained to do. Defend our choices. Justify our paths. Convince ourselves and others that everything worked out for the best. But standing face to face with the road not taken makes honesty unavoidable. You think about your life as it actually is. Not the version you present to others. Not the story you tell yourself to feel better. The real version with all its compromises and disappointments and unfulfilled dreams. You think about the things you wanted to do but never did. The words you wanted to say but never said. The person you wanted to become but somehow never became. And you realize that happiness is not a simple yes or no question. Life is more complicated than that. Fulfillment comes and goes. Satisfaction rises and falls. We are all somewhere in between who we hope to be and who we actually are. The other you nods as if they understand completely. Because of course they do. They are you. They know every fear you have ever felt. Every doubt that has kept you awake at night. Every moment of weakness that you have never told anyone about. They know because they felt those same things at the crossroads before taking a different turn. They tell you about their life. The path they walked after making the other choice. It is not a fairy tale. Their life had difficulties too. Different problems, but problems nonetheless. They faced challenges you never had to face. They lost things you got to keep. They missed experiences that defined your journey. This is the part we often forget when we fantasize about alternate lives. Every path has its own thorns. Every choice opens some doors while closing others. The grass is not greener on the other side. It is just a different shade of green with its own weeds and bare patches. But there is something the other you has that catches your attention. A quality that seems to shine through despite all the difficulties they faced. It takes you a moment to identify what it is. Then you recognize it. Wholeness. The other you seems complete in a way that feels unfamiliar. Not perfect, not without scars or regrets, but integrated, aligned, living in harmony with their own values and desires. You ask them how they achieved this feeling. Their answer surprises you. They say it was not the big choice at the crossroads that made the difference. It was what came after. It was the thousands of small choices they made every day following that moment. The decision to be honest when lying was easier. The decision to rest when pushing harder seemed more productive. The decision to connect when isolation felt safer. The decision to grow when staying the same was more comfortable. These tiny choices accumulated over time like drops of water filling a vessel. You realize something important while listening to the other you. The crossroads moment that separated your paths was not actually the determining factor. It was just one choice among millions. The real difference between who you became and who you could have become is not about that single decision. It is about all the decisions that followed. It is about how you responded to whatever path you found yourself on. Some people make the safe choice and then live boldly within that safety. Others make the risky choice and then live cautiously despite their courage. The initial direction matters less than the way you walk the path. This realization changes something inside you, because it means the person you could have become is not locked behind a door in the past. That person is still possible, not in the same form, not through the same route, but the qualities you admire in your alternate self can still be developed in your actual self. The other you seems to sense this shift in your understanding. They smile and ask another question. What would you do differently starting tomorrow? Not starting 10 years ago. Not starting from the crossroads. Starting tomorrow, with your actual life as it actually is right now. This question is harder than the first one, because it requires honesty not just about the past, but about the future. It demands that you admit what you have been avoiding and what you have been postponing and what you have been pretending does not matter when it actually matters deeply. You think carefully before answering. You consider the relationships that need attention, the health that needs priority, the dreams that need oxygen, the fears that need facing, the words that need saying, the boundaries that need setting, the rest that needs taking, the growth that needs embracing. The list is longer than you expected, not because your life is broken, but because every life accumulates deferred maintenance over time. The other you listens to your answer without judgment. They do not tell you that you should have figured this out sooner. They do not criticize the choices that led you here. They simply acknowledge the truth of what you are saying and reflect it back with compassion. This is what you needed, they tell you. Not to meet me, not to see what could have been, but to see what still can be. The person you could have become is not a ghost haunting you with regret. They're a compass pointing toward your own potential. Every quality you admire in them already exists within you as a seed waiting for the right conditions to grow. You have not missed your chance. You have not run out of time. As long as you're breathing and thinking and feeling, you still have the ability to become more fully yourself. The door to transformation is never permanently closed. You prepare to leave the hallway and return to your actual life. But before you go, the other you offers one final insight. They tell you that they have also imagined alternate versions of themselves. They have also wondered about paths not taken and choices not made. In some of those alternate versions, the other you made the exact choices that you made. In other words, somewhere in their imagination, they're dreaming about your life. The grass looks different from every angle. The path not taken always glimmers with possibility because we only see its surface. We do not feel its stones beneath our feet or its rain against our face or its cold nights far from shelter. We imagine the best of what could have been while experiencing the full weight of what actually is. This asymmetry is built into human consciousness. We will always wonder. We will always imagine. We will always dream of other lives. The goal is not to stop wondering, but to stop letting wonder become regret. You walk back through the door and close it gently behind you. The hallway stretches in both directions, filled with countless doors you will never open. And that is fine, because you are not here to live every possible life. You are here to live one life as fully and authentically as you can. The person you could have become is not your enemy or your judge. They are your teacher. They show you what matters to you by embodying qualities you wish you had developed more completely. They reveal your values by representing paths aligned with those values. They illuminate your potential by existing as proof that such potential is real. You do not need to become them. You need to become the best version of who you already are on the path you are already walking. Starting now, starting today, starting with the next small choice you make. The person you could have become is cheering for the person you are still becoming. And that person has more possibility ahead than you have allowed yourself to believe. Thank you for listening.